So welcome back to Sorare Wakey Academy, and what we are doing is we're making a Euro Challenger under-23 team that will make you money for next season. Now I've already got our 4 defenders, as you can see on the screen here, our 3 midfielders and our 3 forwards. Now it's that time to place a goalkeeper in there, and we'll also look at probably about 4 substitutes, 1 for each position, so the goalkeeper, defender, midfielder and forward. So we're going to have a look at our goalkeeper first. And obviously it's under 23 and we're lacking in that for next season quite a bit. There's only a few left that you can actually pick for that are playing each week. So here's ours. We're going for Arženet Muric. Now he's a Kosovan, obviously a goalkeeper. He is 23, I believe. Yeah, 23, so he's got 1 year left at the under 23 level. He's 6'6", so quite imposing. He's right footed. He plays for Adana Demirspor. When you look at his positions, then he doesn't really he doesn't sweep that much. He sort of stays on in his area quite a lot, but he does command his area quite well. So far this season he's played 28 games. He's making 4 saves per game. He's had 8 clean sheets. Now he plays 90 minutes, but his team that he actually plays for are not fantastic. So Muric was actually born in Switzerland, and he started his career out with Grasshopper Zurich before moving to Man City. He had a few loans from Man City when he couldn't make the team, and he was on loan at NAC Breda out in the Netherlands. He was at Nottingham Forest in England. He was also at Girona in Italy and Willem II in Holland as well. And then he goes back to City at the end of this season. Now I don't know if his loan spell will be extended here. I mean, if I was Muric I wouldn't want to extend it here. He's not really getting the massive scores. His team are not fantastic, are they? He needs to be standing out for a decent team somewhere, I think. He could go back to Man City and sit on the bench. I can't see him knocking Edison out of the side. But I've also seen recently that Galatasaray might be putting a bid in for him. Whether that's on loan or a full transfer, I'm not 100% sure. Now, he was a Montenegro under 21, but now he's a Kosovan goalkeeper. So he switched before he got to full international and went to Kosovo. And he's played 24 times for Kosovo. So you're also getting that utility there, playing international football as well. He's a pretty decent goalkeeper, this lad. So he started off playing a few games for Nottingham Forest there in England. A couple of games, but has then dropped. I don't know if he got an injury or not. I haven't looked into that enough yet. But then a few international games for Kosovo, here and there, before playing a few games for Willem II out in Holland, and eventually making that move over to Adana Demirspor. And then he was playing each game, and then for some reason again he was dropped. He had a few bad games here and he was dropped. A couple of games out, I remember a few people moaning about that on Twitter, saying that he'd lost his place. But then he gained it back again. I don't know if that was just to kick him up the arse or something, but he gained his place back again and hasn't looked back since. He's played every single game, and as you can see here, he's banging up the scores, 60s and 70s, a few 40s and 50s here and there, but for a goalkeeper that's just about normal, isn't it? Let's have a look at his actual price that you can get this lad for, and we'll go to all time. Now this is quite a big sort of up and down chart again. You see he was on that rise all the way up here until he eventually got up to £1,000. I mean, people are paying £1,000 for this lad, and that's only, what, March time? Or just before March, February time? And then he's just come crashing down, look, probably when he got dropped. Went back up again when he got back in the team, and he was up again at £600. That's the end of March, going into April. We're only on May, and if you look at his latest price now, he's down to £300. I think you're going to make a fortune again from this guy when the season kicks off. People are going to want him. He's under 23 again for another year. As I say, not many goalkeepers about next season that are under 23 level. He's already established in this team. We don't know where he's going to go. That's the only problem we've got. We don't know where he's going to go next season, whether he'll go to City and sit on the bench, or be loaned out to another team, or somebody comes in and buys him. But if I was him, I wouldn't be happy just sitting there doing nothing when I'm an international goalkeeper. So that's our goalkeeper then, Arženet Muric. So let's look at our full team now then. We've got everyone in their positions, and we're starting again with the goalkeeper we just mentioned, Arženet Muric. He's in there in goal. We've got Milan van Dijk at right back. We've got Owen Vindal over there at left back. Melly Meulenstein and Jordan Teze in the middle as our defence. Quite a solid defence that. We've got Ryan Gravenbach, who's holding, and we've got Hakan Evjen and Daniel Braganca as in 2 midfielders. Then we move on to our forwards, and we've got Jorby Vertessen on the right, Noah Lang on the left, and Eva Nielsen up top. Now, the guy I'm going to pick as my captain for this team then would be Owen Vindal. Already captains AZ Alkmaar. I think he's a future Dutch captain once he makes his way into that team and a few of the other guys leave. So he would be the man in charge of this whole team. And vice-captain this would probably be Melly Meulenstein or Gravenbach. But that's our team. Looks pretty decent, I think. But we'll move on to a few of the substitutes and that didn't quite make this team, but are still worth making a lot of money in next season. So I'm going to move on to our reserve goalkeeper, and I've gone for Matvey Safonov. Plays for Krasnodar in the Russian league. He's 23 years old. He's got utility until next season again. And like I said, there's not much choice of these around at the moment. And he's one that I rated quite highly. He's had a few bad games recently. You'll see his L5 score's down at 36 at the moment, but his L40 is 47. So when he finds that form again, his price should climb. Looking at where his prices have been then, see it flew up. Up here we can see him at 684 quid. Now that's a lot of money, isn't it, for one of these keepers. Went back down again, all the way back down, before climbing again to £600, and now we're back down to, where are we now, about £332. So I know he's in Russia, but I think very talented lad, this one. And I think he could easily reach his price at the £600 mark again. We're not going to go into too much detail on this, you can go into that yourself. But he would be my second choice goalkeeper. So my choice for a backup defender then is Yukinari Sugawara, plays for AZ Alkmaar. He's only 21-year-old, utility under 23 until 2024. Again, his form's dipped recently. His last 5 are down to 45, but his last 40 are 48, and even his last 15 are 54. Now, I talked about him or his team in one of the other videos, and I was saying that he normally plays at right back, but if it's a defensive game, then we Witry into right back, and he moves into midfield. And this guy just bombs up and down the wing, and the amount of crosses that he gets in during a game on its own, let alone the season, are quite good. Now, his price then, you'll see how he's flown up. When he went into midfield and started banging all these goals and start the season, and he started banging all these goals in and crosses in, he did really well, but recently he's come right down. I mean, you can see when I first bought him, I bought him at £42 and then sold it, whatever price that is, 50 odd, is it, £60? Bought again here, and then I traded him in for a player. But then I lost out on this last one because I bought him here at £37 and I sold him for 30 so I could move on to a different player. But he's now, again, his price is so low, isn't it? 30, he's just stayed down there, £34. I think, again, as he starts next season and makes one of them spots his own, he's always playing either right wing or right defence. And I think with AZ next year, I think they're a decent side, AZ. And one of my favourite teams coming through with all the youth that they've got. He's established his place in that team, and I think his price will go up to about £100 again come the start of next season, or during the season. So looking at his scores then, we'll have a look at his whole scores. So he's had some big scores here as well. And this guy's £30, remember. We've had a few down here at the 20s, look down here, which is when he lost that bit of form. But he's had 80s, 90s, 100 there, 80s, 60s. So I think overall he's worth a punt at £30. Don't get me wrong, he might have a bad game now and again, but he's normally playing every week and normally does quite well. And the odd goal and assist now and again. See up here is overall 5 goals and 7 assists. So that is my defender from a reserve bench, Yukinari Sugawara. And now we move on to the midfielder. I've gone for Mohamed Tabouni. He'll be relatively unknown to a lot of you. I own 4 cards of this guy. I did own about 7 of them at one time. His price is really, really low for what he is. He's out of contract in the summer. They are trying to look at renewing his contract, but I think he's going to have to go on loan or something or be transferred out. He is Dutch. He's played at every level, I think, up to under 21s, is he now? It might be under 19s, I'm not 100% sure on that. Cheap price. Let's have a look at his overall prices. And you'll see, you can see how many I bought here. This is how much, or how high I rate this guy. He has been up once up at £33, but at the moment you're getting him for like, what's the lowest price now? £9.81. If you have a look at a few of these videos on YouTube, Tabouni, and see where he plays and what he does, and then have a look at his career, whilst he's been in the reserves at Young AZ, have a look at that, have a look at his videos and how good he is, and then see if you want to buy this guy, because with him being out of contract, I think he's going to hit quite high this season, either in the AZ team or elsewhere. Massive player for me. I think he's my favourite player. I think on the whole of the system of players that are going to do well. Looking at his scores, he won't have any because he's not been registered on this team yet. But a couple of players there, a couple of games. Came as a sub for 4 minutes and a sub for 12 minutes. So he's done nothing really. Well under the radar at the moment. I've got this guy as being a star of the future, and as you see in videos, you'll see why. So that's my midfielder, Mohamed Tabouni. At the moment, he's out injured, not for too much longer, but it doesn't matter because he wasn't playing anyway. But next season, I think he will. So Mohamed Tabouni, AZ out. So the last and final player that I'm going to talk about, my forward on the reserve bench, is Cody Gakpo. Now, he plays for PSV Eindhoven. It's got him left wing there, but he's been playing right wing recently from what I've seen. But he's 22-year-old. He's under 23 until July 23, so you've got another year of him yet. This guy is electric when he's on form. Now you'll see that the reason that I put him on this video is because his last 5 have been 46. He's always been getting 46. You'll see I think they've labelled him as a substitute as well, so a substitute at the moment because he's not getting in the team at this moment in time. A last 15 of 59, but a last 40, this is his full last 40 games of 67 average. Now, that's just immense. And when we look at his price over here, we're looking at £382 as his 3 days average, and £397 as his floor price. I mean, again, it's a lot of money, but it's a big forward. I can't see him not making money on this lad. Let's have a look at his overall prices then. He started off when he came on around the 200 mark then after his first one. But when he was playing well and in form, I mean, bang, look at the prices up here. £1,200 was paying for this lad. And it's not that long ago. And he's just gone boom, all the way down. And we're now on £396. There is no way that you're not going to make money on this lad. Come the start of next season or part way through it when he gets into the team. I can't remember if he's transferred or not from PSV. I'm pretty sure he is. So it would obviously depend where he goes then. But at this age, I think he's only going to get better and better and better. Massive player for PSV. And when he's not playing, you can tell as well that he's not playing because they haven't got that cutting edge that they would normally have. Looking at his SO5 scores then on the chart itself, let's look at overall. Now, look at this. I mean, there's hundreds littered in there. 90s, 80s, 70s. He's had a couple down here, like the 29 there, and a 34, 42, but you know he's just suffering a bit of form loss, and a few DMPs as well there. But overall, on average, this guy, I mean, 39 goals, 26 assists. I mean, penalty kicks won, 2 penalty kicks won as well. Just an immense player, but a lot of money, which is why he's only on the bench at the moment for me, and not in my actual lineup that I picked. But here's my my last player on this whole series, Cody Gakpo. So there overall you have my under 23 Euro Challenger team then that will make you money come the start of next season or at least part way through it. I think these will all get you quite a nice return on your money. I won't go through that team again, but the subs that we included were Safanov, Sugawara, Tabouni and Gakpo added to that lot on the bench. That's a strong side for anyone, and that side will make you, I think personally, a lot of money going into next season. And will get you decent scores as well when they all start playing and establish themselves in that team. So that's it for now. So if you've liked this series, give me a like down below. Subscribe if you want, because we're going to make some more videos. Maybe a Champions one, maybe an MLS one, maybe an over 35s video, or over 30s at least. And we might even venture into the J League and K League and have a look at them, because I don't normally do them, so it'd be nice to maybe scout a few players there and see what I can come up with. I may also do a video on cheap players that will get you decent scores as well. So if you're interested in all that sort of stuff, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.